Indigenous People of Biafra has strongly criticized the alleged exclusion of the Southeast from all the capital projects in the 2025 Nigerian national budget as read and approved by the House of Representatives. In a statement issued by its Media and Publicity Secretary, Emma Powerful, IPoB describes the development as a confirmation that the Nigerian Senate has denied Igbo citizenship. The group urged Igbo people to view this exclusion as a motivation to intensify efforts towards the realization of an independent Biafran nation. The statement, titled "Exclusion of Igbo from Capital Projects in the 2025 Budget Should Motivate Igbo to Pursue Biafran Independence," criticized the federal government's action and called it a wake-up call for Igbo politicians who believe working with the Nigerian state guarantees them acceptance. According to IPoB, the exclusion of the Southeast region from all capital projects in the 2025 national budget, as read and approved by the Nigerian House of Representatives, is a clear confirmation that Nigerian state has denied Igbo citizenship. The group emphasized that this move justifies their call for an independent Biafra nation, which is being championed by the global family and movement of IPoB under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who remains in DSS custody. IPoB referenced a viral video showing an Igbo House of Representatives member raising concerns about the exclusion of the Southeast during the 2025 budget hearing. The lawmaker was reportedly shouted down by members from other regions, while the Speaker of the House suggested the Southeast might be included in a supplementary budget. The group expressed outrage over the ethnic bias in Nigeria's governance. IPoB highlighted the economic contributions of its Southeast, which it claimed are being exploited without reciprocation. Over 40% of revenue from oil, gas, and non-oil sector comes from the region. Igbo attracts more foreign investments and remittances than any other ethnic group. The Southeast is home to significant oil and gas reserves. Despite these contributions, no capital projects were allocated to the region in the 2025 budget, IPoB said. IPoB called on Nigerian government to organize a referendum for the peaceful exit of Biafra to prevent a repeat of the 1967 to 1970 civil war. IPoB criticized Southeast lawmakers for their inaction, urging that true representatives of the people would have boycotted the National Assembly in protest. It said again, "It is a shame that no single protest was staged by these Igbo lawmakers. You cannot claim to represent Igbo and watch as your region is excluded from capital projects while remaining silent. Such inaction not only proves that they are serving themselves, not the people." The group concluded by urging Igbo to remain resolute in their quest for independence, insisting that the only path to dignity and prosperity lies in the creation of a sovereign Biafran state. Ugochukwu Ora, what do you make of this statement by IPoB?
You know, when I look at, because by extension, I'm a Rivers man, an Ikwere man, and by extension, an Igbo man too.
Interesting.
So, yeah, because you can't be an Ikwere man and say you don't have any affiliation with the Igbo, when your culture, your dialect, your market days, a lot of your things are similar with that of Igbo. So what's the similarity for? That person.
Obako Ikwere has a different stand from what you just said.
Yeah, that's Obako Ikwere. That's Ugochukwu Ora talking. My dad was also a member of Obako Ikwere. Okay. And as an Ikwere man, I'm also an Obako Ikwere person. And Obako Ikwere means all the Ikwere people. We are Ikwere people. We are Ihunoha people. But we share common culture, boundaries, and a lot with the Igbo people. So, and if we share those things we share, we should see what we have in common more than what we do not have in common. And can you bring, sorry, I'm not an ethnicist, but let me give you an example. You can bring a Yoruba man and bring an Igbo man for an Ikwere man and ask him which is your closer brother, and he chooses a Yoruba man over an Igbo man. Because a lot of things the Ikwere man will say, the Igbo man will hear. A lot of things the Igbo man will say, the Ikwere man will hear. A lot of their cultures are alike. It's not that the Yoruba man is not his brother, but I'm just trying to tell you how, just like you bring the Ijaw man to the Ikwere man and bring also an Ishikiri man, he will tell you that the Ijaw man is more of his brother. Why? There are cultures that Ikwe people have too that's synonymous with the Jaws. You understand? They share common boundaries, they share common cultures. So you can't deny somebody that shares a lot in common with you as not being your brother. I don't know what brotherhood is again. It's because of political lines that people have. And if you look at all of us, we are all part of the old Eastern region. So we have a lot in common. But that apart, I look at when I hear the Igbo man complain in Nigeria, it's like when a giant is imprisoned by a small boy that is flogging him. Because as far as I'm concerned, economically, the Igbo as a tribe is a giant. The Igbo people as a tribe, they're a giant economically, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Africa. And intellectually, they are also a force. Let me ask you a question before we even go into all these IPoB separatist issues. There's an Igbo system known as Eba Boy.
Apprenticeship.
Thank you. It is a course in Harvard University today.
And they are using Igbos as a case study.
It's not a course in any of the Nigerian universities. Harvard University found it worthy
to understudy Igbo apprenticeship system
because it builds economies, it creates wealth. But back here in Nigeria, there's no university that in their curriculum. You think something is not wrong somewhere. Now, for me, the Igbo needs economic independence more than any other independence. They already have it. But the challenge the Igbos have is that the Igbos are not united. I can use Nigerian political history to tell you. When Nigeria got into democracy, the time the Igbos had to produce Senate president in the 8 years of Obasanjo, they produced 6. Until today, I can't wrap my head around that. No other ethnic group tries that. So, as an ethnic nationality, the Igbos need to get their act together and realize that a broom together cannot be broken. A broom can be broken in bits.
Could this, to a large extent, concretize part of the things that IPoB has said when they were alleging that the Southeast lawmakers that were in plenary that day, that their colleague was shouted down, yes, to boycott or even protest.
Exactly.
That particular, the fact that Southeast allegedly has been, was marginalized and not even included in capital project. Like, I'm trying to make it make sense to me at the end of the day, but then it is what it is. Now, the IPoB, they are calling out the Southeast lawmakers. Like, what are you doing?
Which I totally agree with them. I have a lot of indifference about things that IPoB say. But on this, what are the lawmakers' work there? When you're seeing it,
to represent the constituency.
Exactly, and your people are clearly being marginalized before you, and you don't say anything about it, and you don't come back and tell your people, call a press conference, call all. Do you know the impact that will make all the Igbo reps come back and senators and say, see the budget they brought. These people did not see you here. It becomes a bigger issue.
Look at how the North reacted to the tax reform bill.
Exactly.
Not even the budget.
Exactly.
Tax reform bill. And how he held the nation ransom.
Exactly.
And they kept on talking about it.
And it's not gone away. It's not going to go away.
That's conversation. And at the end of the day, the president even had to take his time to begin to explain, because he had no choice but to explain.
Exactly.
And lobby, and you could see lobby going on. You could see lobby going on in the, and people like Alin Dume took out time to go back to his constituency to explain to his state and his constituency.
I saw all that.
This is what is going on. This is the implication. This is how it's going to affect us negatively. At least you saw the northern senators doing something, saying something about it. But the fact that this one now is a clear exclusion, alleged exclusion, because IPoB is alleging in this instance. If this is to be true, one would be asking the question, what exactly is the Southeast lawmakers doing?
Exactly.
Are they intimidated to speak out?
Why would they be intimidated?
Why would
somebody? Why would somebody intimidate you? I don't think that at this level that I am, if I am a lawmaker, that you intimidate me. If you try it, I'll come back to my constituency and tell them that in case anything happens to me, these people, see, sometimes it's because people are tied into things that they don't tell us. That's why they can't come out and do effective representation. Because now you're representing the people. Look at all of them that are lawmakers. How many of their children are schooling in their constituency? How many lawmakers have their children schooling in their constituency in this country? All their children are overseas. And you expect us to have good schools in their constituencies when the charity does not begin at home? So a lot of them, they've already sold whatever it is that would have made them stand up and talk on behalf of their people. So when we should live this bourgeois life that we are trying to, it shows our mentality of poverty in Africa. You know, somebody said, I remember a speaker I follow, he said, when you meet a white man that's a billionaire, he might be worth $10 billion. You never know that he has such money. But a black man will be worth $3, and you think he has $10 million, you know? And he said the reason is because black people care about money. White people care about control. Two different things. He now said, you spend the money, who prints the money? So he asked fundamental questions that got to me, and I was like, oh, this guy is making a lot of sense. Now, if you come back to what we are talking about, the Southeast as a region is not a united region. They don't ever do things in a unified front. If the governor of Anambra State is saying something different, the governor of Ebonyi State is saying something different, the governor of Abia State is saying something different, the governor of Imo, they don't have a unified front. They don't even have a forum where they come out and say, no, we've not been properly represented. These are the decisions we are going to make. I remember during the Amechi or the period, they had governors forum, South-South governors, which I don't know how politically is viable today, yeah. But these are opportunities for you to make your region felt, for you to, because since we are operating the kind of system we operate in Nigeria, which for me doesn't add up, this unitary kind of system where Abuja has to be the master of everything, that is a story for another day. We have to find other ways, other options to improve our influence upon the lives of our people. Let me ask you a question. Getting goods from Apapa to Onitsha and from One to Onitsha, which is closer?
One to Onitsha, of course.
Exactly. Now, our people have had thoughts, and they are telling you that it's federal government. I told them that Lekki Deep Sea Port is private consortium and Lagos government. Badagry Deep Sea Port is private consortium and Lagos government. Ogun State is looking at their own. These people are going out to look for investors. See what I have, or using conduits to bring investors. Maybe the government doesn't have to go out to you. They are people, they are business people. I do those kind of things. People go to China and say, look, if you can work with us, our government will give you the viable environment. How much? Then you now talk to African Development Bank. You talk to people that can finance such huge projects, and you get them happening. These things can happen. We don't have to wait for federal governments to get the Onne port, to get Calabar port, to get the closer ports. We don't have to wait for federal government, for River Niger, for containers to be able to, imagine that from the Atlantic Ocean, you could offload containers in barges straight to Onitsha market. This is possible.
It will be far cheaper.
Far cheaper. It will automatically affect the prices of goods and services. We that are from the Southeast and the South-South, we have a lot of advantages we are not thinking about. We're just thinking about the oil. We sit on a land where we can be giants in agriculture, we can be giants in a lot of things, tourism. We can actually open up our ports. Lagos is the biggest economy in West Africa after Nigeria.
Now, another question would be, because now we are talking about our legislators in the National Assembly, why are they not speaking up, right? Like, why are they not saying anything? Because part of the thing there is that at that level, you are representing your constituency, and by extension, not just your constituency, but your states.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't say things that will economically impact, or you cannot push for projects or for things that will have huge economic impact in your state, and to a large extent also create more jobs as well as enhancing or improving the IGR of the state.
Yeah.
One would ask the question, why are this not happening? Our lawmakers bereft of ideas.
It goes down to the fundamental thing I told you earlier of when parties do not have ideology, everybody jumps into the bandwagon. It's like, you know the word we use in Nigeria, national cake. Everybody finds a knife to cut their own slice. They don't think of how.
So it's all about me, myself, and I.
Exactly. And when you have people that are thinking about, I asked you a question. If we can try from today and do a survey and look at all the members of Nigerian House of Representatives and find out if their children are schooling in Nigeria, you see that over 100%, you have a minute, maybe 5% or 10% that have their children schooling locally here. The remaining 90%, their children are schooling abroad. And you expect them to pass legislation
locally will be in private,
yes, pass
private
legislation that will improve schools.
All right, very well.
Apart from that, when they get sick, they don't go to hospitals in their
constituencies.
They travel abroad. And you expect them to make legislation that will improve health care. Those are the fundamental things. And those are the questions I need Nigerians to be asking people that come out to them to say, come and vote for me. Where are your children? Do you use this hospital I use? We need to be sharing the same thing for me to trust you. To know that
so you will feel my pain.
Exactly.
And understand the challenges.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much.